All right, back with you. It is hour number 2, and I am Darren Smith, San Diego sports leader, the Mighty 1090, and also your home for Aztec basketball coming up tomorrow night. Aztecs are going to be taking on Utah State. San Diego State is 22-2 overall, 11-1 in conference play. A rematch tomorrow, and then New Mexico on Saturday. For those that didn't hear it in hour number 1, the rankings came out, and after much hand-wringing and consternation, they have dropped to 6th in the AP poll, 7th in the coaches poll. Somebody who votes in the coaches poll is head coach Steve Fisher, who joins us now on the Mighty 1090. Coach, good to talk to you, and thank you for the time.
Thank you, Darren. Pleasure to be on with you again.
Well, I have to start with the rankings, which came out this morning, and I know that, like I said, there were a lot of people who were worried that you guys might go tumbling out of the top 10. I don't know where you thought you'd be this morning, but how satisfied are you with where you are?
I think given what happened to a lot of other people, it's probably about where you would hope or think you would be if you really looked at it. Mike May came in and showed it to me, and I said, well, who's 5, who's 6? And the fact that Duke and Louisville moved up ahead of us is probably understandable if you want to look at that. Michigan State would have, but they lost. Michigan might have, but they lost. So I think those things, the fact that not only did we lose, but those who were rated just below us also lost, kept us where we were.
It seemed like, and I don't think it was everybody, and I also understand why, that there was a fear here that you guys would end up outside of the top 10 somehow, or that people around the country who vote for these sorts of things, they might have been waiting for you guys to lose so that they could say, see, they're not as good as everybody thought they were. Was there any actual concern for you guys in the athletic department that with a loss, you guys would be treated differently than, let's say, somebody else inside the top 10?
Not from the basketball office. I don't know whether the rest of the folks, what they thought and what they had to worry on. And I think when you start worrying too much about that, then you're not doing what you really need to do, which is get ready for Utah State, get ready for Air Force. I think what we've done, Darren, and you've referenced this and talked about it, we've proved year after year after year that we're not a flash in the pan, that we're a good program and a good team, and sometimes circumstances dictate stuff. But our resume with who we beat this year, with Creighton when they were ranked in a Marquette, and then winning at Kansas, those are all things that linger in everybody's mind, and they remember that too. So I didn't worry about it. I didn't think a lot about it. I was kind of curious. Once or twice I'd say, I wonder where we're going to be come Monday. But that didn't preoccupy the thoughts. I'm glad we're where we are, and that's probably fair. Most people would say that's probably fair.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I said the same exact thing. 6th in the AP, 7th in the coaches poll, and we're talking to Steve Fisher on San Diego Sports Leader, the Mighty 1090. I don't know. I've never asked here. I know that you are a voter for the coaches poll. Where did you put San Diego State?
Well, I'm going to hold off on telling everybody where I put us until it becomes public record after the season.
Okay.
So I just do not get into that.
Fair enough. Now, are you asked not to divulge that, or is that a personal choice?
Nobody's asked us not to do it.
Okay. Fair enough. Now, could you tell us who you voted? Syracuse number 1 at least?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And they've been living on the edge as you and I know. Isn't it 3 straight last-second possession games?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You got that right. With that said, I just one quick question on the process there itself. How does a coach actually get a vote in the coaches poll? Is it random?
I think so. They asked me to do it after Rick Majerus left Utah. He was the voter in an area. Maybe they picked so many from different parts of the country. But I've been doing it for quite a while now, and I enjoy doing it. To be honest with you, I probably watch more games than most coaches do, and I know I watch more games than most sports writers do who are also rating and picking polls.
Is that because you're just a fan of the sport? Is that a little bit of advanced scouting? I mean, what's the reason? Because like you said, not every coach does that. Most guys will tell you they just sit in film rooms and watch their own tape.
I think that's probably a time in life also. When I had 2 young sons at home, I didn't watch as much. because I was doing what was most important, being with the kids. Now, Angie and I have our time together, and we watch some live games together. And then she goes and watches the Hallmark Channel, and I don't like the Hallmark Channel, so I watch a little more of the game time.
We're talking to Steve Fisher, head coach at San Diego State. Utah State comes up tomorrow night. Coach, let me ask about Saturday night, 64-56. You guys get back in the win column, maintain first-place status in the Mountain West Conference. You had some notable alumni in the building, and I just wonder from a head coaching standpoint, when you're able to look around, how much time do you get with Kawhi or with Franklin or with Malcolm Thomas? Because it seemed to be a lot of great faces from Aztec years past.
It was wonderful for them to want to be here. Obviously, All-Star break, they had opportunities to go a lot of places. Those that care about where they came from oftentimes come back, and we had a game and we had 3 of them back. It was terrific to have all of them there. And you know that with given everything that goes on, about all I had time to do was to say hi, bye, and thank you. Kawhi did not, after the game, come in for an extended period, but Jamal and Malcolm did. So I brought them out and talked about them a little bit to the team before I came out and did the radio show with Ted. It was great to have them there, and I know our fans were excited to have them, and our players were too.
Yeah, I was going to ask, because it's not that long ago, that somebody like an Xavier Thames actually spent time traveling with Kawhi Leonard. And Franklin was on the squad last year, so there's familiarity there as well. Are they just contemporaries to your players, or is it something more because of where they are and what they're doing in life?
I think right now, to be quite honest with you, they view them as contemporaries, yet they have great regard for where they are, because that's where everybody wants to go.
That's great that they come back, too. I always love hearing that. The game itself, 64-56. I guess, that's usually a score that you associate when you play against Air Force, isn't it?
It really is, Darren. And our game, the first time at their place, 79-72, was very atypical of an Air Force game with San Diego State. This one was more in the ballpark of what you expect to see. They have multiple possessions where the shot clock's under 5 seconds before they shot it. They had a couple of them where they had the ball for over a minute where we fouled them right at the end of a shot clock. And it limits your possessions. It limits the number of opportunities you have to be successful. So you better take care of the ball.
It seems like there's more talented teams, respectfully, than what you might face with Air Force. But I get the sense that when you have to face Air Force, it's still a groan. It's still oh, man, like we know how much work it's going to take to have to beat a team like this.
Well, Air Force has got more physical talent in a couple of spots than people give them credit for. Coggins could play anywhere. He's a really, really good player, and he had 29 at their place. He had like 2 for 12 against us here, so we were better against him. They are a team because of how they play. They put you in mismatches to some degree, and then they attack you off the dribble or off the back cut. We were so much better in this game, defending all their sets, keeping the ball in front of us. I told our kids that. I said, you were so light years better than the way you defended them in game one. Mm-hmm. And part of that was indicative in 37% field goal shooting as opposed to 52 when we played them at their place.
Another solid game and appearance there for Dwayne Poley. It seems like if we're going to trace it back to the shot he hit against Utah State, who you'll face coming up tomorrow night, it seems like everything is clicking for him right now. And people had always known about the talent for Poley, yet it seems to be working really well for him right now. He seems to be playing his best ball that he's played in an Aztec uniform.
Without question, he is. And with that comes extended minutes. Or you could say with extended minutes come the opportunity for good play, but they're there now. I mean, he's going to play hopefully close to 20 minutes or so, maybe more, in every game that we play. And that's good for him and good for us. He's a guy that can come in, and when you're struggling to score, he finds ways to get baskets, whether it's shooting a three, attacking to the rim, getting a fast break dunk. He has that ability to get quick offense for you when you really need it. And he's been playing really good basketball. I'm very proud and happy for what he's done for himself and for us.
You know, I think that role, I think sometimes it gets overlooked how important the role is to be a sixth man type to come off the bench, because the crowd kind of settles down. You need a little bit of energy off it. And, I'm sure he wants to start, right? I mean, who doesn't want to start in college basketball or basketball at any level? But to embrace the role of coming off the bench and providing that type of energy to get your crowd back into it, whether it's an alley-oop or a big three-point shot, I think that's one of the most underrated roles in all of basketball at any level.
There's no question about it. When you can have a spark or two or three off the bench that could come in and get you going as well as keep you going, it's a huge boost for you. And I've said this publicly too, Darren. Dwayne Polee, I've never had a player is willing to accept what you ask him to do. Maybe even sometimes to a fault. And I say that in a nice way. I think Dwayne probably had reasons to come in and knock on my door and say, "Coach, can we talk?" He's never done that. He's been a cheerleader when he hasn't gotten in. He's been a smiley face in the locker room genuinely after a win when he hasn't played much. I love who he is and the way he's handled himself. And I do think that as a result of that, he now, when he is playing, is more prepared, but he's also more of an example that we can use. And I've used that to our other players. Dwayne is what we all need to be. And it's not, if you're good at what you do, the squeaky wheel is not going to, get favoritism. You need to be for the team, and nobody has exemplified that more in his career here than Dwayne Polee.
What a statement. An interesting week for you guys. Utah State coming up tomorrow night. I'm just going to take a guess, Coach, that they probably will show up tomorrow feeling like they owe you one.
I'm sure they will, and they are playing really good basketball right now. Vegas beat them at Utah State on Saturday, but they had won 3 in a row prior to that, and they're playing really good basketball. They got their big power forward back, Davis, who did not play against us. He had a knee injury, and he gives them another dimension with strength and size inside. They are as good a set play team as you're going to play anywhere in the country. If you watch, and our fans who are listening, if they're at the game, they hold up 2 signs, kind of like a football calling plays. One is the real play, one is a fake play. They call every play for them, and they are big-time good at executing their set plays. So we're going to need to be ready to go because this is a good team.
Is that unusual to have that sort of thing come off the bench?
It is. Yeah. 10, 15 years ago, I think more people did it. Judd Heathcote was a guy way back. He kind of micromanaged, called every play. Stu's done a great job, and I think he's done this his whole career. He might have worked with Judd at one time, but they have one assistant, and I don't know whether Stu gives them permission. I think Stu probably calls a lot of them, tells them what he wants run. But if you watch, if we're pressing them and they coming across midcourt, if they don't know, that point guard will turn and look to see what they want them to run every play.
That's interesting. And I'm going to guess that with Utah State tomorrow night in your building and on national television, any room for discussion about New Mexico yet, or do we have to get through tomorrow night first?
We better be laser beam on Utah State. I really do think that our kids are. I think they know how good Utah State is, playing a man short in the game that we had at their place. They had a great crowd, but it was not just the crowd. They have a very good team. They are a veteran crew. Their 2 senior wing players are as good a 1-2 3-point shooting combination as there is in the league. And then they got the big 6'10", 6'11" low post player who we did a good job on, but he's playing very good basketball. It's going to be a good game.
Should be a good week as well, and an interesting week in conference play when you think about Vegas playing against New Mexico. So there's certainly no shortage of things to talk about. Coach, thank you very much. I always appreciate the conversation.
Thanks, Darren. I appreciate you having me on.